Welcome to the woman's rulership, Adam's guilt and Eve's innocence, part 3. This is a 14-part series whereby we will be presenting to you Adam's guilt and Eve's innocence. My name is Dr. Yodhhewawhe, and I'm going to ask you a very meaningful and relevant question. Do you recall in part 1 what man, rather Adam, was formed of? That is, the dust of the ground. Will you want to learn more about this subject matter? Do you in your soul know you were born for greatness? Well, we shall now continue further proving our research with our 5th reference as evidence of man's nature, which was always corrupt, and man's love of bloodshed. Let's turn to the Sahih International Version of the Holy Quran under the 2nd Surah, 30th verse. Read. And mention, O Muhammad, when your Lord say to the angels, indeed, I will make upon the earth a successive authority. They say, will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood? While we declare your praise and sanctify you. Allah said, indeed, I know that which you do not know, as referenced in Quran.com/2. From our reading, we can see why the planet has so many problems. For the righteous rulers, that is, women, are not in authority. Therefore, the wicked, man, beareth rule, in accordance to the book of Proverbs 29:2. The good angels feared man, for they knew that all Adam and his descendants will do is corrupt the earth and bring about bloodshed, or rather, shed blood. It is the reason you have one war after another. It is the reason you have gang violence. It is the reason you have a high homicidal rate. It is the reason you have suicide. It is the reason you see so much gun violence in the news. It does not matter what the man's nationality, color, or race. Men all over the planet have this same tendency toward violence. Their religions do not change the shedding of blood. For the most murders and heinous crimes are committed by every religious adherent. If you were to do a census in the prisons worldwide, and to every individual that has committed bloodshed, you were to ask them their religion, it'll be a miracle if one responds by saying atheist. Think on this. Man hates everything. He does not need a reason to hate. He hates himself. He hates his brother, as we are all aware from the story of Abel and Cain. He hates other man. He hates other races. He hates his children. He hates God. Man has taken the true name of God and hid it under the terms ineffable and tetragrammaton. In fact, in his secret societies, such as Freemason, man has taken dead vows to keep the true name of the Creator hidden. Man hates the animals, for he has created a sport called hunting and fishing, and man slaughters millions of animals every day. The hypocritical thing about it is he then complains about the animals he has killed being an endangered species or extinct. Isn't that funny? I mean it in a sad manner. I believe that is an oxymoron. Let's move further with man's hateful and violent nature. Guess who is the number one killer of women? Yes, man. As a misogynist, meaning hateful woman, women get killed by their fathers, as in some Arab countries. Women get killed by the government, which is composed of men, as in China when baby girls were being killed to control the birth rate or mass population. Women get killed by their husbands and boyfriends in a jealous rage. Women get killed when they go out on a date with a man who cannot get his way. Women get killed by men for just walking the streets or by being in her house by herself. Man will rape and ravage a woman, and even after getting his thrill, will turn around and murder her. Wow. In a certain era, man will burn woman under the guise of the woman practicing witchcraft. And then, as he is killing her, he has the audacity to call her a witch. Man is so wicked and evil that he's proud to have a son, but he shows disappointment in having a daughter. Thus, as you saw in part 2, slavery is nothing but a 462-year-old smokescreen in hopes of hiding the woman's suffering for over 6,019 years of her stolen legacy, a woman's eternal rulership of the entire planet. Let us turn to the 2nd Surah, 34th, 35th, and 36th verses of the Holy Quran. Read, and mention when he said to the angels, prostrate before Adam. So they prostrated, except for Iblis. He refused and was arrogant and became of the disbelievers. Verse 35, and we said, O Adam, dwell, you and your wife, in paradise, and eat therefrom, in ease and abundance, from wherever you will. But do not approach the tree, lest you be among the wrongdoers. Verse 36, but Satan caused them to slip out of it and removed them from that condition in which they had been. And we said, go down, all of you, as enemies to one another, and you will have upon the earth a place of settlement and provision for a time, as referenced in the Quran.com/2. We could also see this scenario played out in the 7th Surah, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 24th verses of the Holy Quran. Read. Verse 11. And we have certainly created you, O mankind, and given you human form. Then we say to the angels, prostrate to Adam. So they prostrated except for Iblis. He was not of those who prostrated. Verse 12. Allah said, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you? Satan said, I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay. Verse 13. Allah said, descend from paradise, for it is not for you to be arrogant therein. So get out. Indeed, you are of the debased. Verse 24. Allah said, descend, being to one another enemies, and for you on the earth is a place of settlement and enjoyment for a time, as referenced in Quran.com/7. Note, if you go back and look at 2nd Surah 36 verse and 7th Surah 24 verse, you'll see how it ties in with the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15. Read. 2nd Surah 36th verse, Sahih International Version of the Holy Quran. But Satan caused them to slip out of it and remove them from that condition in which they had been. And we said, go down, all of you, as enemies to one another, and you will have upon the earth a place of settlement and provision for a time. 7 Surah 24 verse in the Sahih International Version of the Holy Quran states, Allah said, descend, being to one another enemies, and for you on the earth is a place of settlement and enjoyment for a time. Genesis chapter 3 verse 15 of the King James Version of the Holy Bible. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Descend, being to one another enemies. 7 Surah 24 verse. Go down, all of you, as enemies to one another. 2 Surah 36 verse. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman. Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. And between thy seed, boys, and her seed, girls. Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. The battle of the sexes. It shall bruise thy head, go upside your head, spousal abuse, domestic violence, and thou shalt bruise his heel, meaning Achilles' heel, a weakness or vulnerable point. Attack his weak spot. Talk about his shortcomings or failings. Get on his last nerves. Eve, the woman, been made from Adam, the man's ribs. You know how to get on his bad side. That is, provoke him to anger. Give him a hard time. To annoy and irritate him, etc. Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. This war will continue until the man gives up what rightfully belongs to the woman, the rulership. The same as the angels, Freemasons man had to bow down to the profane man, Adam, that is, one who is unenlightened, made of the lowest matter, dust, and not just dust, but from the dust of the ground. Well, Adam knew that he would have to do the same towards Eve. Therefore, he conspired against her rulership with the head or leader of the 1/3 of the rebellious angels who turned away from following God's law. Adam decided that he would rather blow up the planet than to give up the rulership. Why do you think man has all these weapons of mass destruction? For every man knows he will have to let his wife, his girlfriend, his mother, his sisters, his aunts, his nieces, and every woman on the planet rule over him. And as a chauvinist and a misogynist, he'd rather blow the planet up. But don't worry, for no matter how wicked he is and how foolish and insane he is, the sucker wants to live. Therefore, it is a means of using intimidation, hoping to scare you and I at my coming from taking what's righteously and rightfully yours, the daughters and descendants of Eve. No, it is not divine right of kings. It is divine rights of queens, which is the doctrine that queens derive their authority from God, not from their subjects, from which it follows that rebellion is the worst of political crimes. Hence, in conclusion, you have learned that man is corrupt, hateful, that is, filled with hate, and loves to shed blood. You have also learned that there has been some 6,019 years of enmity between man and woman, and between boys and girls. Because in your unconscious state, you know that there's something not right about the man. Yes, you're right. He's stolen your divine rights of queens. And it is time for you to take back what's yours. For he does not know how to rule, that is, in righteousness. I thank you for your valuable time. And if you would like to donate to this vlog, please see below link and stay tuned for the next lesson on the woman's rulership, Adam's guilt, and Eve's innocence, part 4. I am Dr. Yodhhewawhe, and I wish you God speed.